Okay, here we are. Stejara, are you there?
I am here. Hi,
Hello,
Dell.
there you are. um, well, that's weird that I couldn't get it to work on the directly on the website, so that's definitely something I'll have to fix next time. Um, but I added a stopgap measure on the website that says click here to view on YouTube. So um, at least people will be able to click that and look at it.
So,
So let's get started. This is the Open Parameter Hub as it stands for the moment. Um, Eventually, this will be its own logo that says Open Parameter Hub, and then the different artwork that we're showing will display under here on that blank wall section. These are kind of
this
just
is really sweet.
yeah. I found that
Mozilla Hubs is so cool.
it is. I found these really cool upside down pyramid, sort of like sound sound dampening looking things, and so I put them on here. Um, and then I also added this little like void door um, that because I thought, well, how do people, you spawn here where this guy is. And I thought, well, how do people get into this space? And I thought, okay, well, we don't know, so they come through a door from nowhere. Can I full screen this? And does that still display well? Okay,
Yeah.
sweet. It's always going to say Mozilla.com as control of your pointer, which is really annoying. But so yeah, so
Mm.
I could also make it so that so that this isn't collidable and you can actually like walk through the door and then be outside the space. But I probably won't do that. Um, so then we have the actual main gallery with some art by my wonderful friend and former coworker Adriana Aguilera. Um, that will be displayed. That will be probably one of the first things to display in the Open Parameter Hub. We have this mysterious giant pyramid that descends through the wall, or excuse me, through the ceiling.
Is that like a ceiling light or, you know, you know what I'm talking about, where sometimes buildings have those
It's a
like
skylight.
carved out. Yeah, skylight,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's a skylight, but then I guess like this giant alien pyramid decided to place itself here. I like Hannah and I kind of worked on this one, and she and I like that you can't quite see just how big it is. You can barely see the
Mhm.
sky. Um, so I think I've left enough room um, uh, for you know for it to feel open enough when people walk around it, and for there to be enough art that can be displayed. Um,
Mhm. I like that currently there are these sections that enclose the space,
mhm.
and kind of partition this wide room. I don't know if maybe having a little bit more enclosure in these sections, or thinking about potentially enclosing art by one person in in a room, maybe not necessarily a room, but at least a section where the architecture kind of encompasses the work as well.
Yeah, totally. Um, I'm sorry, I was checking a technical thing. I was kind of half listening there. I apologize. Were you saying
No
adding
worries.
adding a space inside this main space that encloses the art somehow?
Yeah, I'm thinking about. I really like how currently there are these little sections, and especially if we start bringing in artwork by multiple artists in the same area. I don't know if curatorially you'd like the art to kind of feed off of one another in this large space, or if you'd like to have maybe more segregated spaces of organization where maybe there's a cohesive theme or an artist in that space. and it's a little bit more, I would say, architecturally enclosed.
Yeah.
But I also like this like really big space, especially if this area starts getting populated with more and more work by other artists
Hmm.
that are thematically aligned or at least talk to each other in some visual way.
Right. Well, I mean, generally, like, this is where, like, everything beyond this area is going to be, like, kind of one exhibit or one person's art. And then, like, I was going to put some text here. I mean, I need to make it so that I can put transparent, like, text with a transparent background.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it looks like we painted it on, kind of, onto the wall, right? So, like, black text on the wall, and it'll say like what this particular exhibition is about. Each of these will have a little plaque with a title next to them,
Mm-hmm.
and then um, in terms of making it so that the other art, so that the art, oh come here, so that the art's having kind of a conversation with the other art. We could definitely do that. Like some of this could move around. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
like put something here and then have something else here. The thing is, and this is what we're mostly going to do today, is we're gonna add a room. And so I'm gonna, against my, well, people are gonna see this anyway, so against my better judgment, I'm gonna fly outside of the, oh god, the pyramid is humongous, as you can see. I will actually,
This is so cool.
uh, this is the most recent space that I designed. This is probably my favorite thing.
This is beautiful. It almost is like a space right out of Dark Souls.
Right?
I've been recently playing that game, and it really looks like beautifully, like almost gothic architecture and kind of this very strange floating cube. I love it.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is mostly meant to be a sort of small video, sort of small theater. Uh,
Mhm.
and normally I would have a film that Hannah and I made up on the screen, but it causes some really bad lag.
Mm.
So if we ever do have a film being played in the space, there will only be one of them at a time because it does cause some lag.
I
Um,
see.
and a friend of mine actually suggested making like a separate hub entirely for just videos, and that's
Oh,
possible.
that's a great
And
idea.
that is a great idea. But then it would just be, then there would be just the whole thing would be lag because I think the videos
Mm,
actually lag the space out that much.
I
Um,
see.
so
I
we'll see.
wonder. I wonder if there's a way to compress without losing quality, or at least like pushing down the quality
Hmm.
a little bit to where maybe it's not as noticeable, or even going from like 60 frames per second to 30 frames per second could really help with that, but
I
I'm
don't
not sure.
I don't know what causes the lag if it's the YouTube video because it's all YouTube. I link them. Everything is a link.
Oh,
Yeah, everything is a link. I can't, surprisingly, I can't upload, like I can't upload a video. I have to link it to
okay.
something. So for and by that same token, like this is a link. I didn't upload these files directly to to be an asset on the hub. Every image you see here, like that's a link, that's a link, that's a link.
Mhm.
They're all links. The only things that are actual assets are like the three-dimensional objects, like the picture frame itself, or this giant pyramid. Um,
I see. I'm thinking maybe I don't know. I haven't really played as much in Mozilla Hub as you have, but I'm thinking maybe if we were to import them as assets, there
mhm.
would be less of a problem. Is that even possible?
That is probably definitely possible. I just I haven't researched enough into doing that.
Hmm.
Um, that would I that would that may be that may ta- I mean I want to get into Blender pretty soon.
Hmm.
And uh, start learning Blender for other reasons. Um, and I could probably do that in Blender pretty easily.
Yeah, totally.
But as a stop, I mean, what are you doing? uh, but it's really easy to upload this as just a link to a dummy website, and then link it, and then what's really cool is I can I don't really want to do this now, but uh, the interesting thing is like this isn't a unit. Like the image is
Mhm.
independent from the frame.
Oh,
Yeah. So I can.
weird.
So what I actually had to do is I had every time I put a new image in, the first time I did it, I had to I had to like get really close up here and like move it so that the image was like. Can I do this right now? Okay. Um, don't do that though. Can I do Control Z? Good. Um, I had to make it so it didn't snap, and
Mhm.
then I can like make it so that it's so close to the frame. I can move it out like this, right? And it's an independent image. But
Right.
I got it so close to the frame that it looked like it was painted on to the frame, like it's actually
Yeah.
attached to the frame, and you can't tell the difference. Um, and even if you do get close enough, you can't tell the difference. Um,
I have a question slash idea.
yeah, what's up?
And this could be a little out there.
Okay.
So bear with me, but like it seems like currently what we're doing right now with the space is recreating a physical gallery space in a virtual world.
Yeah,
But then there are these really beautiful, physically impossible things
like
that
this
can exist in this space, exactly like
or
this
this.
cube, or the
this
right,
this one
or
actually
the fact.
freaked out a friend of mine. But anyway, go ahead.
Oh, really? And also like the fact that you can literally like separate the image from the frame and have this really weird like
Mm,
floating um, content.
yeah.
I wonder if that's something that we could like play with and mess around with a little bit, or if you'd like if the intention of this space is to recreate kind of a physical interaction that people are so familiar with and bring that into this virtual setting. So I guess my question is, what's really the vision of this hub, and would it be fun or intriguing to like play around with some of the physics in the space?
So yeah. So what I kind of imagined is that the the first time people got in, they would think, okay, this is a normal art gallery. This looks like a normal art gallery. Everything's fine, especially in this room.
Mhm.
Everything's fine. Everything conforms to regular physics, except this thing, right? Like what's this about, right? And they walk in here, so they'll start out here and they're like, all right, this is normal. They may if they turn around, they're like, that's not so normal. They'll walk through here, they'll go, this is pretty normal, except that's a little unsettling. Um, it's the only thing in the room that is a little unsettling. It's meant to be very mysterious, and kind of make people ask questions. And basically, my philosophy, my whole approach to this was that it would start out the further you explore into
Oh.
this building or this world, the weirder stuff becomes.
Mhm.
That was my imagine. That was how I was imagining it. So like this
I
room's pretty
love that.
normal, right? This room's pretty normal. Once you get out here, stuff starts to get really crazy. Like first you see this floating building, you turn around and you see this humongous that the just how there's just the size of the pyramid, which will make people react in very different ways. You can see as I fly outside the space that it's actually like you know very humongous and is like just floating by itself into this space, which I have to look, I have to be honest with my influences. This is like 100% influenced by the game Control. If anyone has played
Mhm.
that, it's such a cool, fantastic, surreal third person adventure game. And there's this room in the game that features a very prominently upside down pyramid that is actually much bigger than this one. The upside down pyramid in that game really intrudes all the way into the room and makes you feel very claustrophobic. And I didn't want to do that. I wanted it
Hmm.
to be mysterious without being off-putting, or without making the room feel smaller. And I
Uh-huh.
think I've pulled it off. Anyway, but yeah, the further people go, the further people explore into the space, the weirder things become. I have to show you this over here. I've created
Oh my god,
my own little sculpture.
this is
Um,
amazing.
very very sort of like seemingly Soviet era brutalist, kind of architecture and sculpture, I think. But
Mhm.
I like the idea, and it looks like they're kind of like attached to the concrete. I wish they were a different
Yeah.
color. And then this is supposed to be the monolith from 2001: A Space Odyssey. Anyway, so
Cool.
um, and then the gray Dark Souls um, sort of thing that goes around is it's sort of meant to sort of cordon off this space as being a little bit more reverent. There's more of a reverence for this space,
Right.
I guess, but it's also meant to make it more easily discernible. And this was also pointed out by the same friend of mine. Uh, it's supposed to make it a little bit more easily discernible just where this building begins and ends. I don't know how well
Hmm.
that's accomplished. I think it works personally. I mean, things are a little more blurry in Spoke than they are on the production.
Yeah.
Um, but this is about the height that people stand at, and I think it's pretty obvious because of the color contrast. The depth of the world and how unfortunately there's a little bit of texture collision here, but uh, you can tell where different objects begin and end. I think.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, I really love what's happening here, and I think just hearing your description about how this kind of dark gray structure really cordons off the space and makes it feel more reverent in a way. I think that's really fantastic. I'm almost wondering if there's a way that we can maybe incorporate like a sculpture garden in
yes.
this space or some sort
Hmm.
of because you already have that really phenomenal. I think it's beautiful. This very strange sculpture of bodies moving,
Right.
very beautiful. It almost reminds me of that kind of human evolution graphic that
Oh
we're all
yeah.
familiar
Hmm.
with. Um, and so I can almost see these like weird sculptures just randomly dispersed in this like sculpture garden esque
Yeah.
environment. And then also just another like random idea that I had regarding the pyramid motif in the other room. I think it's really great that like that huge pyramid kind of connects into this room and also brings in that other space visually into this area. I'm almost I almost find myself wanting to like see more of this pyramid or at least like a little bit longer in the base and have it extend almost a little bit further
Into
because
the
I think it
room.
would be really yeah
Hmm.
into the room. I think it would be really cool if like as a virtual avatar you can almost go in and like look up and almost be able to like feel this pyramid, but of course you're in this virtual space and it's
Right.
impossible, it's like out of reach, it's intangible, but just the feeling of having it be so intimate in the space in relation to the virtual avatar and the interaction that we have. I think that would be maybe an interesting tension. I don't know if you have any thoughts.
I agree with you. I just lowered it like a few millimeters, or
Mm-hmm.
what I guess is that meter? That looks like millimeter. Well, that's not. Whatever. I lowered it a little bit. And because yeah, like Hannah was looking at this space and she wanted just a little bit of the sky. Like
Yeah.
initially this was more of a courtyard,
Mm-hmm.
and this pyramid wasn't here, and this whole area was open. And then I made this courtyard space, and I thought, okay, well, I need some like juxtaposition. I need some contrast between a true courtyard space and like the interior, right? So I closed
Yeah,
this in
right.
and put the pyramid here. So Hannah
Yeah,
wanted
great.
just a little bit of sky. I think this is a little more effective now, uh, in the way that you, because I don't want it. If I lower it much more,
Uh-huh.
it will completely, like close up the
I
space,
see.
and
Yeah,
it'll look
yeah.
like a pyramid is just like on the wall or on the
Mhm.
ceiling, right? But this still makes it look. This is about now. I could make it slightly smaller and then have it. And we might do that, but I don't know. What do you think of this? Like this seems to hold on.
I think it's great, and I love kind of what you were saying about Hannah's idea of having the just like a little bit of sky coming
Mm-hmm.
in. I think that's beautiful, and I definitely don't want to change like the interaction between the outside world and this enclosed gallery space. I think if you wanted to like maybe elongate just like the shape of the pyramid and bring it in a little bit so that the ratio of sky changes
Mm-hmm.
or the ratio of sky stays the same but it's like maybe the point of the pyramid comes down to like right where the gallery walls end, which
Mm.
I guess is like really close to where it is now, or even like right above the doorway, so that when your avatar comes in, it's like there. But I don't know if that's bringing it like too far
I
into the
feel like that's
room.
bringing it a little too far.
Okay, got it. Yeah,
I moved it a little bit to the right because I think it was off center.
yeah.
Now I think it's still off center. Hold on, let me move it over here a little bit. The grid doesn't really show me the symmetry. All right. I think I'm gonna leave it for now because I
Yeah.
do want the idea. I do like the symmetry of it being in the middle of the room, but
Mhm.
I also like the idea of like them standing here and kind of like before they maybe go out here, right? They're like,
Yeah.
ooh, what's this? And they're trying to like see, and they can like maybe walk around it and go, just wow, this thing is like bigger than I can really imagine,
Mhm.
and kind of just bask in the sublimity of it. And then they go out here and they're just like, oh god, like oh my god, it's humongous.
Yeah, amazing.
Where did this come
I
from?
love it.
Okay.
I think it's great. And one other question, sorry, I'm like focusing on this pyramid in the middle because it's just
No, go for it.
amazing. But
Go for it.
there's this circle, I think, that I noticed on one of the um,
Oh, I hoped you wouldn't. I
faces.
hoped you wouldn't see that, but yeah, here it is.
Okay, yeah. Is that intentional?
No, it not no. Okay, so I did not design this pyramid. This is a like Creative Commons three-dimensional uh asset
I see.
that was created by someone else. And when it's created by someone else, that is attributed when people open up the Open Parameter Hub, they can see the attribution. But it's Creative Commons. So I did not
Mhm.
design this. Eventually, if I learn Blender, I will make what I prefer is for this to be darker, like a slate black, like basically this color, the color of this
Yeah.
black, um, and which would be very far in the realm of the game Control because and that pyramid is like a black as dark as night. Uh,
Mhm.
but in order to add a little bit more contrast between the white walls, you know, this is enough contrast already. But if it were like marble black, uh, then there would be a little bit more contrast, and I wouldn't have this circle here. That's why the circle is not it's not on this side,
I see.
right? I also
Yeah.
don't like that it's like that it has these indentations.
Uh-huh.
So I would get rid of that. I would want it to just be a smooth black pyramid with maybe a little bit of marble shine on it. So if I would probably make that in Blender and then import it as a GLB.
Mhm.
GLB, am I correct in that? GLB? GLB, yeah, .glb into the space.
Yeah, I feel like it's really easy to make something like that. I also have some experience in rhinoceros.
Hmm.
I don't know if you've
I've
heard of it,
never heard
but
of rhinoceros.
it's paid version of Blender, kind of similar to Maya.
Mm-hmm.
Really powerful. I think it's by Autodesk, but I can't remember. I'm probably wrong on that. But it's a really great 3D modeling tool, and has a really cool extension called Grasshopper that allows you to parameterize what you make, and you can even write like Python scripts
Oh wow.
inside of Grasshopper. It was really cool. I took a class in it last year around this time actually, and so I have I think I might still be able to even open Rhinoceros and work in it. I have, I think, like a student license or something, and so could even bop in there and make some of these shapes, especially if you have, I guess, maybe a specific design goal or aesthetic that you want to impart on these objects that maybe you can't find in the assets that already exist. So
Yeah.
that is an option.
Yeah. I have heard of Grasshopper. I didn't know that it was part of another software, so that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so let's get working on. We want to design at least one additional room. Right
Yeah.
now, let me show you the general layout of the whole place, which I don't really want to do because then too many people will see what it really looks like. I don't like to show how the hot dog is made, but uh, this is kind of the general like floor plan.
Mm-hmm.
Very linear. You start here, you end up here. um,
Mm-hmm.
and then I was imagining that like to maintain the symmetry, there'd probably be a doorway here, right
Uh-huh.
here. Ooh, that's a problem. Those are not. Ooh, did I just move the? Okay, good. Um, those are not symmetrical, so that'll be interesting to fix. Well, I was imagining that there'd be a room that would enter out here and be out here, and then there'd be another room out here.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. I also find myself wanting to have some sort of maybe relationship between the floating cube in the center of this outdoor area and the floating pyramid that exists that kind of comes into the enclosed gallery space. I find that they're wanting to talk to each other like
Mm-hmm.
visually, but they're
Yeah.
not right now because they're these separate pieces that belong in their own space. So I'm almost like trying to think of a way that we can tie those two visual pieces together, or at least maybe build off of the floating cube that you have to almost like get to a level where like maybe there's a walkway where people can actually come in and stand on this pyramid, and maybe like the pyramid is an actual room in and of itself, and you can drop into that room, and it's
Um,
this weird, I don't know,
yeah, I
just
would.
imagine.
That would take me building something in Blender so that like maybe the pyramid had an open hole like this.
Yeah.
The problem is, I think that would become a little confusing for people who may not be familiar with navigating video game spaces. But then maybe it could act as an Easter egg for those who are familiar with navigating video game spaces.
Mhm.
I don't know. I was thinking a very simple and subtle way that we could make these two pieces talk to each other is if we had two sculptures that were looking at each other, like one standing here
Mm.
and one standing way up here. And
Yeah.
maybe the
Yeah.
sculptures were like had their arms extended as though they were waving at each other. That's
Mm.
one possible way. I would be hesitant to build an actual walkway between the two.
Mhm.
Um, I almost think that the pyramid talks to the to the cube uh, pretty well right now because of the angle here. Like the angle of because of the angle of the pyramid sloping downwards, it kind of
Mhm.
almost looks like the if you're down here, it looks like the pyramid is looming over you as though
Yeah.
it's like looking at you. I've always felt like
Yeah.
it was looking at me. And it, as if like and this almost kind of looks like I mean, without trying to like I know that inanimate objects, they can have conversations without being anthropomorphized. But so without
Mhm.
anthropomorphizing this space too much, this looks a bit like a face, and this like maybe that's a tongue. Um,
Mm.
so it almost kind of looks like this. I don't know. In terms of having a conversation, like this pyramid looming over this cube, um, I think it. I think there's a bit of a conversation going on here.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I almost find myself like connecting the archways to the pyramid just because of the color
Mm-hmm.
matching, whereas the cube to me connects more to the actual like rectangular space of the gallery because their color matches too. So maybe I don't know if it's easy for you to change like the color of the floating cube or yeah,
Darn, I
I'm
really didn't want to change the color of the floating cube.
you didn't okay.
Mm-mm. Yeah, I mean I can. It's not hard. It's actually very easy. Let me just change this outer section really quickly. I think that's the top sides. Yeah. Let's change it to like something that is gonna look good. Like this. I personally don't like this. Well, actually, now it's growing on me. Uh, I
I
th- hmm.
I don't know about
Yeah, I
that.
think it's too much contrast.
Yeah.
Also, of course, right now there's way too much like collision, so
Mhm.
that's really annoying. But I really let me just get rid of that. Um,
Yeah.
the other reason I made the outside white, or not white, but like this sort of brutalist. Well, besides the fact that I like that style of like just poured concrete and
Mhm.
brutalism, the other reason I made it out the outside dark was to put some contrast between these kind of aniconic panels
Yeah, I
looking
see.
thing. On what's really annoying is I can't this particular asset, um, this archway and this window do not allow for this sort of like brown aniconic panel to be applied to it. So
Mhm.
I had to put this what's called scratched aluminum. And then I did. What's really frustrating is I don't think that this hat can be scratched aluminum. Yeah, it can't.
Mhm.
So that's kind of annoying. But that's fine because that's why I made this little pedestal here
Yeah,
have the same texture. But
right.
um,
Yeah, I mean, I think that I also agree with the texture of the cube and that cement quality. I think that actually in Mozilla Hubs it's rendered pretty phenomenally. Like it's like I don't know. I find that it's very representative of kind of that texture of physical concrete
mm-hmm,
without trying to like exactly copy it. Like you can
right.
tell that it's a virtual texture.
Mm-hmm.
So I really like kind of um, that coloration and that texture that exists currently. Um, yeah, I find that it's pretty reminiscent of Donald Judd's work. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
if you're familiar, but
I vaguely recognize the name.
he is the artist that essentially started the Chinati Foundation, which is in Marfa, Texas,
Mm-hmm.
and Marfa is essentially like a space where it's very influenced by Donald Judd's work. A lot of his work is there, and it's very geometric in this way. There these motifs of these almost like pure forms and shapes,
Mm-hmm.
and I find that I like that form in the way that it acts in the space for sure. And I think that your idea of having like these sculptures almost like connecting into these pieces to tie the pyramid in with the cube, I think that's a great idea. So
Yeah. The I guess I was doing this subconsciously, but one of our motifs in open parameter are sort of the uh in 3D graphics they're called uh primitives.
Primitives.
Thank you. Yeah, they're called primitives. Is that something that extends? Does that come from the art from like the capital A art um background, or is that specific to 3D rendering? Do you know? Like, do you in
I
your studio art practice, do you refer to cubes and pyramids and the simple like platonic shapes as primitives?
no, no, no,
Okay.
no. I mean, at least personally, like I've never heard that. I think what happened is like in these 3D renderings programs or software, it's almost like hard to create a tool that's so open-ended, especially if it's targeted for beginners. So tools like maybe Blender or SketchUp are really targeted for people that maybe are just starting. And so I feel like it really happened when people were making these tools and they were like, okay, we need to have like some starting shapes that people can just click on and bring into their world.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess they serve as these elemental building blocks for bigger and greater things. And you can start with a primitive and then manipulate vertices or do
Yeah.
Boolean like operations, like addition of faces or subtraction of space, things like that. And so I think that's where it originated. Don't like quote me on that because I could just be making things up. But yeah, I think it just originated in the 3D
Yeah.
realm.
But I've always liked the concept of the sort of perfect geometric forms, like the idea that the philosopher Plato, that somewhere out there there's the perfect form of a chair, and
Mm-hmm.
that everything else is uh, you make every chair is just it is not perfect, but it's like you're trying to achieve. It's a pursuit in trying to achieve the perfect form. And
Mm-hmm.
I would I guess I've been doing this self-consciously, but the idea that throughout this gallery world there would be um, any representation of one of the perfect forms, like the pyramid or the cube or the sphere or
Mm-hmm.
the prism or whatnot, would be huge. They would be large,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of like larger than life. And so if I would, honestly, what I might do is I might make, because this isn't like a perfect cube, I might add one more level,
Uh-huh.
make it a little taller. I'm not sure if I'll do that. Um, but somewhere out there we might have a sphere, and heck, I could have the sphere like floating out in the middle of nowhere, like out here, and people can just like, or I have to be careful how many assets I put into the space, because everything I put in here is a drain on resources, and can,
Mm-hmm.
depending on like I will probably have to delete some stuff before we after we put some actual like 2D art in here, because like when you go to publish, um, it's really nice. It gives you this rundown of like what resources you're using.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the fact that it's taking a while doesn't bode very well. So yeah, it'll say like your polygon count is uh, oof. I didn't realize that. All right, that's a problem. Apparently, I have more than the recommended triangles, so that's not good. But that's for mobile devices, and
Yeah.
I'm not really. If people are looking at this on their mobile devices, they're not really like devoting as much attention as is required to this space as I really want them to be.
Mm-hmm.
Then again, if they only have an iPad, then if that's the only thing accessible to them, that's something that we need to consider.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but this is not. It isn't. We're not in the red, But this is like a space. Right now, we're at the point where like maybe only someone with a computer like mine, which has really powerful stuff in it, could would be able to run it this space really effectively. Like if you run this on a MacBook, um, it's really slow. Uh, and pretty laggy. It's less slow when I take the video out. And that's the other reason for this space is I thought, okay, well, if we're only going to have one video, um, in the space, we should make we should make the space that we exhibit the video in like really important and like really obviously important.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Anyway, so let's get working on the other room.
Yeah. I kind of have a couple of thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Just as you were talking about going back to kind of the more philosophical ideas, you mentioned Plato and these like Platonic solids that are very pure in and of themselves, and I found that that's very, I would say, synergistic with the suprematist movement in art. I
Yes.
don't know if you're familiar with that, with
I'm very familiar.
Malievich. Yes,
Yes.
and
You've hit the nail on the head. And I want to be clear that's suprematist with a T.
yes, and the movement is suprematism.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, basically it's an abstract art movement that originated in Russia, and
Mm-hmm.
it was around the time of the First World War. I think
Yeah,
it was in 1915.
early
Yeah.
1900s. I believe that the last, like, they had this big art exhibition called the last exhibition of, was it suprematist art, and it was the last exhibition of suprematist art 0,11 or 0,1 or something. Um, and it was called that. It was called the last exhibition of suprematist art, and 0,1, zero meaning like beginning from uh, like the origin point, and then
Mm-hmm.
one, I think it was 11. 11 being the original number of artists who were involved in the project.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was, sorry to derail this for you, Stejara, for a second, but when I was playing with the group Udasim Triangle, the last album we ever made, I titled the last, what was it? The last exhibition of like improv music 0.0, or something.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, but yes, suprematism, very, oh shoot, why did it do that? I'm very influenced by suprematism, and generally like art from the modernist period.
Mm-hmm. That kind of gets me thinking. You were mentioning like having the sphere motif. What if there is a walkway coming out of this room, like you had mentioned, kind of into the side, and then it goes into this weird like outside space, and then all of a sudden there's this like geodesic dome. I don't know if you are familiar with
Mm-hmm.
those. The geodesic dome was created by Buckminster
Fuller.
Fuller. Yes, who is a great engineer and artist, and really like a
Mm-hmm.
pioneer of the media art movement and architecture. And he essentially wanted to create these geodesic houses because he believed that the sphere, or the geodesic form, is this pure form, and that houses would be um, essentially like perfectly created in these geodesic forms. And they were almost, I think, like self-sustainable houses or something like that. It didn't end up happening, but it's a very common, I guess, motif and reference. And so maybe having some sort of geodesic dome that people can enter
Mm-hmm.
would kind of connect these areas.
Well, if this wasn't white, I would make it. Um, because I unfortunately can't change the color of that. Um, there's this guy, but this guy
Yeah, what
looks.
about that?
I don't know. This guy looks too sciency, sort of too sci-fi for what I'm going for.
Yeah.
Very much a diversion from Lab D7. Yeah, very much a
Yeah,
diversion
that's
from.
true.
I wish teleportation was possible because it'd be cool if like. Wait, actually, I can pull this off. I might be able to pull this off. If they were to go through the. Oh my God, what's going on? They could walk through the door and end up in the geodesic dome.
Hmm.
Let's just do that for fun. The other problem is, and let's see, this might have, yeah. So if you see over here, this this object's textures use around 60. Not gonna make that joke. 69 megabytes of video RAM, um, and everyone is collectively shaking their head. In the not affirmative direction. Move over here. The what the heck was I getting at? Okay, so we can't use this asset is what I'm getting at is because
Yeah.
it's but for funsies, I want to see if I can if I can actually do this. Let's rotate and lock it to 90 degrees. Did that actually? Okay, I'll need to, don't do that. I'll need to spit, no, not that way. What? That's not right. Come on. Green.
The eternal
The
struggle
eternal struggle, yeah.
of 3D design in a 2D space.
Okay, so then I can make this room, let's see what happens if I make it 0.05. That's still too small, 0.01, that's humongous, that's probably the size we needed, honestly.
Yes. I love this protruding
Yeah.
thing.
At some point, we'll just do a version of the open parameter hub that's completely screwed up and um, like the matrix is collapsing upon itself or something. Um,
Open parameter hub, the existential version where
yeah,
nothing actually exists.
yeah. I select everything, flip it 90 degrees on its side, and then um, uh, and then call it a day. Let's see. I need to rotate this, and I do want to lock that to 90. Wait, no, I don't. I know I need to rotate this. I need to make it bigger. What am I talking about? 0.5. There we go. Yoo-hoo! Go back to transform, please. Translate. Thank you. It's still.
Oh, and I wanted to
Right. So then
ask you.
they go through here. Boom! They end up in here. All right. That's not gonna work. Come on. What did you want to ask?
I lost it, but it may come back.
Sorry.
No, it's good. I think it might have had something to do with like teleportation, and you had mentioned that idea before, and I was wondering if maybe that it would be possible to have like these weird black doors like we have in the entrance where people just materialize and then have them like leave out the door and then all of a sudden like turn up in this weird geodesic dome area.
Tell me about it. I would love to do that. That would be amazing. Like I would love for there to be like over here, just like one of these, and make it really clear that it's a door. You
Yeah,
know,
right.
and not like a supremacist artwork. Because if it was just a black opening, then people might think I can't walk through that. But if there's a door with the
Yeah,
word exit, they think maybe I can go through that.
yeah.
I'm going to, obviously this is how I'm pulling this off. I don't like showing how the hot dog is made, but this is how I'm pulling it off. Um, and that was one of my thoughts is that they would just go through the door and then boom, they'd be in a new space, and there would be
Yeah.
multiple places like that. I'm not so sure if for the next exhibit I really want for because like what it would look like is let me just temporarily get rid of these guys here
Mhm.
and pull in a wall with is this a good size? No, let's do this. Yeah. Um, ooh.
Ooh, more
Ah.
Dark Souls esque doorways.
Mmm. 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 We could do something like this. Let's try this out.
Commence
Instead,
Yoda impression.
mm, design 3D worlds. I do. Go to lunch. Hungry, hungry you are. Okay, sorry. I do a terrible Yoda impression. You know who does a fantastic Yoda impression is Mark Hamill. Um, as you might suspect.
I am not
That's who.
familiar.
That's Luke Skywalker. Um,
Oh,
okay, I like this. And
yeah, that's really
it
cool.
also didn't take very long. So we're gonna publish this one. Okay, first I want to show. Okay, so check this out. Here's the thing: is that these are transparent textures. All right, right.
Mhm.
So like one side can be opaque, the other side is transparent
That's
because actually
amazing.
it's one-sided, and that's to save resources. But in order to fix that, so that if you're on the other side, because I'm gonna make a room here, and I don't want this to be transparent. It's so easy to fix. What I do is you select this, you hit Control D, and all you do is you go to rotate, and you rotate it 90 degrees,
Yeah,
and boom, it's in the exact same spot, and it makes a perfect doorway.
that's amazing.
Freaking
And
love it.
I think I really like the transparent effect inside the gallery almost. I don't know if you want to keep that, but like, what if you could see outside and have almost this like hint of the geodesic dome? Um, but then when you leave, you like it's not transparent anymore, or vice versa. Like maybe it's not transparent, but then when you look at it from the other angle, I guess what I'm trying to say is like is there a way that we could incorporate that choice and make it an actual design choice inside the hub instead of just kind of like
Um, where would the geodesic dome be? I don't quite follow.
oh I sorry maybe we're not doing the dome here but I maybe thought that this would be like the doorway to the dome or are you just making a doorway right now?
Well, right now I'm making a doorway that will lead to another. Like I'm just imagining right here will be another room.
Okay,
Um,
got it.
how large the room is, what the room is designed for, where we can figure that out while we're making it. But I was imagining like this would be the general exhibition space.
Mm-hmm.
This is a general exhibition space for 3D work, like 2D, 3D, meaning sculptures, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then out here we would have these would be like special exhibition room A. We wouldn't call it this, but special exhibition room A, special exhibition room B,
Mm-hmm.
for like spotlighting the work of one specific artist,
Yeah.
right? Or one of the things I'll say this right now. One of the things I want to do is partner with local schools around the North Texas area, and then eventually beyond Texas, um, and do either a competition or have some method of selecting student works at the high
Mm-hmm.
school level, and annually do like a 2 3 month exhibition of student work, from a variety of different schools around the area, and that would
Yeah.
be exhibited in a special exhibition space. Um, need to fix this. And it would be in one of these spaces. But I mean, I do like
Mm-hmm.
the idea of there being This would take a little bit longer to design, but I would like a window in here somewhere. And I'm thinking almost like, maybe in the special exhibition space out here in this
Mhm.
room that we're about to build,
Mhm.
um, we could put a window that looks out onto maybe a grassy area, and out there there's like a sphere. But we'll get to that in a second. Let me add some floor here. Now the cool thing is, whoop. Let me do this. I want to translate. I'm gonna select all of this floor. Actually, I'm gonna be really lazy, and I'll cut it down. I'll cut it down later. But I'm gonna select all of this, and oh god, why did it do that? I'm gonna duplicate it, and I'm just gonna move it. Come on. Oh, gonna move it out here.
Nice.
And so now we have a floor that we can use. And oops. What I suggest is maybe we determine the size of the room first by the
Mhm.
floor.
Yeah.
How big do you think we should make this space?
Um, so my immediate like gut instinct would be to make this a smaller, enclosed,
Mm-hmm.
more intimate space,
Yeah.
especially if the purpose of it is like special exhibition space A, like you had mentioned, and special exhibition space B. And so that just kind of got me thinking about maybe a more intimate geometric space that feels like maybe more immersive in a way. Ooh, idea. What if we have these special rooms be immersive, like media art
Mm.
environments? So, like, you would walk in and there would be these like beautiful moving projections. Like, for example, I'm really interested in um, using code to like model, I guess, behavior that looks organic. So, like flocking algorithms or organisms that kind of their bodies are generated through like an evolutionary algorithm,
Right.
things like that. And so maybe almost like I guess just because maybe I'm interested in that and I'm biased, my brain immediately goes to like you walk into this space and there are these like creatures that are these virtual creatures, but they're creatures and they're moving and they look organic and but they're in this like geometric space and having
Yeah.
that maybe that playing with that tension between you're going in and it's this very organic feeling um, media art but you're in a virtual body like you technically don't exist in this world these creatures don't technically exist like does that kind of make sense I
I
don't know if
definitely, I
maybe
definitely like the idea of it being some sort of animated creatures. However, um, that you can kind of interact with in some way. However,
yeah
the only concern is the resources that would
yeah
require. How we can certainly try that. What's great about this is we can try it, and if it lags the space out, we haven't lost anything. We can just not do that, right? Um,
yeah
how tall do we want this room to be? Do we want it to be the same height as the?
what if we make it the same size as the cube the floating cube
I think
or
that's a
at least
little
maybe
small.
same proportions, like maybe take it and blow it up a tiny
Mm-hmm.
bit. I'm just thinking because
Hmm.
you mentioned like suprematism and kind of influence of these like pure geometric forms, and then that got me to thinking about ratios and how they're
Right.
there's like the golden ratio, whatever that is, if you like believe that exists or not, but just kind of maybe preserving like ratios of the structures that we're having and kind of maybe something that would be interesting is maybe doing like ratios in a number series, like maybe that are indicative of like the Fibonacci sequence or
Mm-hmm.
triangular number sequence. I'm just, I guess my ideas, because this is just the way that my brain works. I'm trying to like find maybe these computational like rules or a computational approach to making the space. Um, and so that was just a thought that I had.
I like that idea. It shouldn't. Whatever we do, it definitely shouldn't be without intention. Give me 1 second. Uh,
Yeah.
Give me 1 second. Okay, I don't think that adds too much noise. I had to turn on a fan. Um, uh, I definitely like the idea. It shouldn't. It should definitely be intentional. Whatever we do. Um, uh, Whether or not we're making it so tied down to a procedural force that is not really evident.
Mhm.
I don't know if I want to do that.
Got it.
Um,
I'm almost thinking, what if the hub itself, like maybe if you zoom all the way out, what if all of these components like come together to make maybe a design or I don't want to say like make a shape, but
right.
I'm almost thinking like you have this main room that's this rectangle, and then there are these side appendages. I'm almost thinking of like the hub as a body where this main room is like the torso area.
Mm-hmm.
If you can draw that comparison,
Yeah.
and these side rooms are,
Let me get a good shot of that actually. Yeah.
yeah.
Have you ever played the game The Witness?
I have not.
That you should. You would get a huge kick out of it. Maybe that'll be a live stream one time. We're just playing the game The Witness. We might do that as a third live stream. That would be
I
fun.
would I would be so down.
Hannah and I have played The Witness together. She's way better at it than I am. It's a puzzle game, but there's an aspect of what you're talking about in that game, of sort of the idea of Gestalt that one of our podcast guests who will be coming up in 2 weeks mentioned how, I was talking about this yesterday and I couldn't remember what it meant. The idea that a set of objects or things or ideas that are parts of a whole,
Yeah.
and when put together uh, they make something bigger than what they are. And yeah, that's definitely something we could work on. For the moment, however, what do you want the color of the floor to be? Because
Oh, I
I'm
mean,
imagining this space as being darker than every other space
yeah,
in color.
yeah.
Like like this is sort of a black box theater with a black box movie theater. Um, this I would imagine is like a true black box area.
Hmm.
Um, which unfortunately, can I make the? That's the darkest I can make the floor.
I hate
Do you
the.
hate that?
I hate it.
Why?
It's. I think it's the way that this texture is talking to the texture on the wall,
Well,
and how this is black and the wall
hold
texture
on.
is.
That I can fix really easily because this is a. I was not going to keep the wall texture this way whatsoever. I was immediately going to change this wall texture. Um, let's change this wall texture to like that. Oh, I don't like that.
Like normally that carbon fiber aesthetic, like
Yeah.
I'm behind, but for some reason, like just was not happy.
I'm gonna tell you, I actually like this texture more than this texture. I
Mm.
think I hate the color of this texture. Before we continue on, sorry everyone. Before I continue on building this room, which was the whole purpose of this live stream, I'm gonna fix this because this looks terrible. Now that I really think about it, um, we're gonna change how this looks. Um, that was what stone, no, crap, was that stone blocks? Yeah,
Ooh,
that looks a
nice.
lot better.
It looks
I
better.
think that
It
looks
does.
better.
It
Stop it.
does.
It looks more like the Washington Monument, but in terms of color. You know what I really wanted to do was I wanted to make a mock-up of the Ricky sculpture that we
Yeah.
all that you and I know and love from
And that is
Meadows.
gone now, right?
It's not well, it's not present in that space at this particular moment. No,
I'm gonna cry.
I did cry. I walked out. Yeah, I walked out. I walked over to Meadows. I walked outside of Meadows, and it was gone. And they tore it out. I mean, the everything is weird. And I
Ugh.
started to cry because I was like, "Oh
Oh
my
my
God,
gosh.
they're destroying my space."
Yeah.
This looks a lot better. I'm going to see what this
What
looks
if
like.
we put a memorial of that sculpture in
Yep.
here?
Well, that's sort of what I was initially doing with this room because I called that whole
Uh-huh.
because they're going to enclose that courtyard space too
Mm.
into and that the people who are making that happen will not be mentioned. The people who donated the money to make that happen will not be mentioned on this particular live stream. But rest assured, I'm not a fan of them. Um, but Dell also does not want to be sued for defamation. So, um, uh, what the heck? Stone blocks. Hello? Oh, don't tell me. Are there two textures here? No, there's not two textures here. That's also stone blocks, right? Yeah, stone blocks. Why is that not changing? Bricks light. Stone blocks. Okay. See, now I have to undo because I feel like I've done something improper. And oh, I see what I did. I see what happened.
Yeah.
You see I had this thing selected over here as well.
Yeah.
Scroll down for me. Thank you. Stone blocks. Cool. There we go. Oh, see the color of this looks
So much better.
this blends
Yeah.
so much better already. Why didn't I do this before?
Yeah.
Um,
I think maybe that cream color was like taking away from the very like slate gray, slate
yeah,
black,
yeah, it totally
white
was.
aesthetic. Yeah.
And let me tell you, I hate that cream color. I can't. I knew there was something about this space that was really off-putting to me, and I couldn't really figure out what it
Mhm.
was, and I couldn't put my finger on it. And now I have. I hope this is interesting to people who are watching. Um, I'm not watching the live chat, which I probably should be, but
Oh, I'm watching it. It's currently
no one's talking.
silent.
Okay,
No one is
that's
talking.
fine. I don't expect people to talk. That's all right. That looks so much better.
It does.
Gonna save
Oh
that.
yeah, for anyone who's watching, please feel free to chat any ideas or chat. Like we will respond.
Well,
I'm at least looking at the chat, so feel free if you're comfortable and want to participate. Just wanting to put that out there for our viewers.
Right, make this stone blocks. All right. Do you like this contrast more, or do you just want me to get rid of this
That's
black?
better.
That's better.
I think the shininess is a little
It's a problem.
weird for me
Yes.
just because like nothing else is so reflective and shiny.
Right.
But I mean, I'm not particularly bothered by it, and I also think that like generally when I approach designing like a space, I try not to maybe make like a decision on a specific like color or shape because I find that like if I change something, the whole atmosphere of the space changes. And
Mm-hmm.
so maybe like iterating between, like starting with a very basic floor texture and then moving to walls and then kind of bouncing back and playing off. Because like one decision is going to affect the entire atmosphere of the space, like we just saw with the color of the wall in that other area. So
Right.
yeah.
This carpet hashed is like the '90s are calling. They want your playground back.
Have you seen that meme where it's like, sorry to derail a little
Ooh,
bit, but
ooh! I hadn't seen this texture yet. We're gonna stick with this for a second. I'm sorry.
okay.
What is
I
the
mean, I
meme?
don't hate it, but
You also don't like it. Okay.
I mean, again, like I think we need to put walls before I can really
Oh, I
like,
feel you.
yeah, so
Let's
you
do
can
that.
put it back.
I'm almost wondering if we
Um,
should have a small courtyard, like right. Okay. I've mentioned this. I don't know if they're watching right now. I know that they said they were watching at one point, but I've mentioned this random friend of mine who will remain nameless. Um, but they had the idea that actually, around the whole building there would be a courtyard. Well, actually, you could walk around the whole building, and I might still do that. Initially, I think they had the idea that there would be a circle around it, and that the whole building would be sort of a cube, which I didn't hate that idea. Um, but I didn't at the time, at least. I didn't want people really walking around the whole building,
mhm.
because that also means that I have to make this wall not transparent and this wall not transparent. And this
Mhm.
wall, if I want it to look like, oh well, at least they wouldn't walk around. I guess I could only do it around this side. But anyway,
Mhm.
um, no, I don't know. Let me not think about that for a second. Let me just put some walls up.
Yeah, let's throw some walls. What do you think of like a um, rectangular, like wait, square pyramid, square pyramid like
Like this?
shape?
Well, the thing is, we've already used a square pyramid. You know what I
Mhm,
mean?
that's true. Yeah.
Can I do this easily? Let's see. I'm gonna do this, but then I'm gonna replace this tile later. Control D, move you out. Crap. In order to get it to, I have to make the axis the center. Hey, it worked. Sweet. Go back to transform, move this over here. Okay. And then move this here. I hope that watching me move digital is interesting. I've watched when I watch people um like game developers design their rooms, that's interesting to me. At least. Can I select all those again? Yeah, that's cool. Initially, I thought that this software sucked, and then I learned it and realized that it's actually amazing. It
Yeah,
really.
I feel like that's the general struggle for like any 3D modeling because like our computer screen is a 2D screen. So we're trying to like think in 3D,
Mm-hmm.
convert that to 2D, and have that appear 3D
Well,
in a space.
yeah,
And that's like really tricky for me to
I've
wrap
bec-
my head
I've
around.
become pretty accustomed to that because this is no different from a lot of video games that I play these days involve an aspect of base building
Mm-hmm.
where you can build your own space in the open world that you're in, and so this is really no different from base building for me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of how I approached it. Is just like what kind of base would I want to build? Like you can do that in No Man's Sky. But in terms of like actually building, this is the most easy to use program because sometimes like there's a game called Last Oasis, and the base building mechanics in that game are terrible. I hope no one watches this and gets me in trouble for that. Dal said the game and let's move this back. Oh no! Don't do that. See, I have to duplicate and then do that. That was close. That could have been disastrous.
Watch as Dell accidentally destroys the open parameter Mozilla Hub.
Yeah. Totally.
Oh, I wanted to ask, since we were talking a little bit about video games, and you had mentioned before, like maybe the idea of having like little Easter eggs inside of the
Hmm.
hub. Should we incorporate like some sort of video game mechanic, or at least like video game feel? Are there like secrets that people can find
Okay,
and
in terms
do?
of yeah, in that aspect, yeah. Um, having so I don't know, you were pretty busy in undergrad when I did this, but Hannah and I when we were in undergrad, we ran a very small, short-lived alternate reality game.
Mhm.
Which some of the artifacts of that you can still find around Meadows. There's at least one locker in Meadows that if you open it, there will be a stylized um, line drawing of the Ricky sculpture with a QR code
Mhm.
under it, seemingly there for no reason. But we ran a little ARG and uh, yeah, so like hiding things in kind of plain sight, or oh no, okay, hiding things in plain sight, or make adding little Easter eggs that people can find. That's definitely something I want to do in the space.
Mhm.
Like at some point I do want to put something behind here so that if people walk in, there's something back here. But I don't know what that would be. All right, so I need one more
Yeah.
wall here, and the way I can do that is select this stuff. And duplicate it before you move it, because you will lose it. And let's rotate it really quickly. And then go back to transform and move it into here. After working with the software for a little bit, I just started to get a big head, and I was just like, yeah. When I figured out the sort of tricks that I could do, I'm like, I'm a level designer. Like, look at me. And I'm like, I'm sure that people who do real level design, like oh crap, as a as a profession, would be like, oh, that's cute. Um,
That's great to hear, though. Just I'm putting my tool design hat on right now, but I feel like whoever designed Mozilla hubs would love to hear you say that. You know, as a beginner
yeah,
to the hubs, like after you learned the software, just now feeling like confident and able to, tinker in it, build. I feel like that's I guess a sign of a successful tool or a sign of a successful software.
yeah, like it's so easy to use, you'll feel like a professional. That's
Yeah.
um, and unless the bias is that I've never done any professional, so I wouldn't know what it feels like, right? So that, but yeah, like if it's so easy to use that you feel like you get like a dopamine hit when you get something when you do something correctly. Um, totally. Now I'm gonna do something kind of unorthodox in order to make because we don't want right now. This is gonna sound kind of morbid. Um, Never mind. I'm not gonna say that. This we don't really want this to be a courtyard space, right?
Um,
We already have a courtyard space that's pretty big. I
yeah,
feel like we don't need another one out here. Although this is nice the way it is right now. Like it kind of feels nice. Like
it
you're
is
inside.
quite
You walk out here.
beautiful. I like the open ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
You can see the
I
pyramid.
don't, I, yeah, I love being able to see the pyramid. I don't know if like maybe if you do want like some sort of ceiling, having maybe a similar design choice as the main room where you can see like a sliver of sky and then a sliver of the pyramid,
Yeah.
or like you go to a certain angle and you can see it, but you can't anywhere else. I think that if we want to make this space intimate, closing it in
Hmm.
will do that, whereas making it open kind of brings more unity between like the person inside the space and the outside environment, which in my mind is less intimate because there's more interaction there. There's more environment. There's more space. Um, yeah, I don't know where I was going with that, but
No, I think you hit it on the head that if we want to make this space intimate, that it shouldn't be open in that way. That is not going to be the final. Oh wow, that really does not work.
oh,
Do you like that?
I like the skylight. If yes, if we change the
Hmm.
texture of
Totally.
the ceiling,
That I can fix with
I
that.
love just that little area. I'm wondering though if
Not make it that.
like I find it maybe a strange placement having that skylight just over the entrance. Like I understand why it's there to provide this like
No, you're right.
view of the pyramid,
It's weird.
but what if we like narrow the opening and make the opening span the entire wall so that
Ooh,
it's like, oh, what if it's a floating ceiling and around the edge is just the sliver of sky and it's this like weirdly surreal thing.
that I might be able to pull off. Let me do
And
something.
then
Oops.
that way like the pyramid can still be seen if you're in certain areas, but then you're also getting maybe like glimpses of the outside world as well.
Yeah, I like the idea of it being just a little bit of a floating ceiling. Let me. Although I'm sometimes we'll look at it. We will do it, but I'm sometimes cautious to make those kinds of floating ceilings because okay, so this kind of looks more like it should be the floor.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to the McNay in San Antonio?
No, I
Now
haven't.
I need to take you to the McNay in San Antonio, and you've probably been in more interesting art galleries, but the McNay in San Antonio is like my favorite place to exist. And so a lot of at least one room in this building is going to be an homage to the McNay, and this ceiling is sort of similar to some of the design of the McNay. It's a Spanish villa
Mm.
that was owned by a woman named McNay, who was a major art, um, I guess, patron. And
Mhm.
then they built this giant brutalist block next to the McNay, which is really strange. Anyway,
Mm.
so
You
okay,
would you would love the museums down here in Santa Barbara. Everything is Spanish influenced,
oh yeah,
and those like more rectangular, like white buildings that are very Spanish, very beautiful. And we have one museum here called the Moxie. Can't remember what it stands for, but it's like a kind of playful, like sciency, interactive art museum. And it just kind of reminded me of the space that you were talking about.
okay. Now I need to remember if blue is X or Z. I think blue is Z. So if I
Mhm.
change the Z, oh, wait a minute. I don't want to. Don't want to constrain. I want to go zero point 0.9. Oh.
That is cool. That is cool.
This is
If we
something I'd
make,
not considered.
yeah, me neither. If we make more of a sky between the walls and these tiles, I think this would work and change the texture.
Yeah. 0.98. Nope, that's too. 0.9 looks pretty good. There's. Hmm. had not considered that it would do this.
Now, the only problem that I have with this, like separated floating ceiling,
Mm-hmm.
is that when you're inside the space, you won't be able to get a clear view of the pyramid.
I like that though.
Um, okay, yeah, yeah,
I think that's interesting. If you want a clear view of
okay,
the pyramid, walk out here.
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know, like if
Okay,
you want to see the
there,
pyramid, come out here. If you
yeah,
know, but over here, it's more like I mean, the rest of the building is about not getting a clear view of the pyramid.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I almost didn't like the fact that you could see. I almost want to find a way to, in every space, obscure the pyramid in some way. But we can worry
Mhm,
about that later. I'll, as a note to self, I'll need to fix this a little bit because if you're over here, you can see. I'll
mhm.
need to put up a wall there somehow. Actually, that'll be easy. I'll just
Or bring the ceiling down a little bit, is another
that's gonna make
option,
well
and the
no
walls. But
no I
yeah,
think that'll make it too claustrophobic.
okay, yeah.
I don't want it to be too claustrophobic.
Yeah, I think maybe our next step should be changing the texture of the ceiling because that's like
Yeah, that's the next thing I'm gonna
it's
do.
clashing and it's preventing me, I guess, from seeing like the architecture because my eyes just focus on the
Let
texture
me
right now.
first change it to the exact same texture. Let me do this. Let me. This is starting to look like a prison cell. Stone blocks. All right. Oh God, why is that so? Okay, I'm gonna need to change the lighting settings. Let me not do that. Let me change this to something darker so that we can.
Yeah.
Oh, that's. Yeah, I know what the
Whoa.
problem is. I know what the problem is. I might be able to change that right now. Directional light. Let's lower that to 2. Ooh, actually, can we lower that to 0? That's gonna be too dark. Let's lower that to 2. And then there's another directional light down here, which it shouldn't be down here because that's bad organization, and I won't be able to find it at all. Oh my. Can I search? I can't. Great. Directional light 1. Yay. Can I move this up here? Come up here. Oh, that's very slow of you. Alright. Oh, come on. There we go. Now you're moving faster. What the heck is going on? Don't go down. This is the real entertainment, everyone. Watching Dell struggle with. There we go. Come on. Go. Move. 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 Alright. This is the real struggle. Now you're doing it. Now it's just losing itself. Come on. Get up there.
I just realized my cat fountain is making noise in the background. I don't know if you can hear it or if other people on the live stream can hear it, but apologies in advance.
Okay, well, thankfully, I got the 2 to be right next to each other, so I can just take that down to 2. Can I take this down to 0? What happens if I get rid of the directional light level completely? Nope. Wow, that really makes things look very
Whoa.
different.
Yeah.
This is not good. I don't like this.
I don't mind the outside and the inside gallery space. I think the light will change like the textures that are very reflective, so like any sort of metal texture.
Mm-hmm.
We could even consider adding a directional light like inside this room specifically to get
Uh-huh.
rid of that
I just need to move.
spot.
Yeah, I just need to move the locations of the directional lights so that it's not. Or um, I can also change the color. You know, which I won't do. But come on, don't do this to me. Why? Like I can give it a blue hue. I'm gonna keep it white though for obvious reasons. Right now, I'm just gonna leave it this way. Okay. So now we have this floating panel wall. Um, I need to find a way to make. What if? Let's see.
The ceiling is so cool. I really like the partitioned floating ceiling.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. I didn't think that would happen, but as I was trained in my composition background, if something surprises you, even if it's a mistake, you should keep it.
Yeah, definitely.
In fact, especially if
My
it's a mistake.
my high school art teacher called them happy accidents,
Well,
or the beautiful accident or
you
the beautiful
you know
mistake.
where they're getting the happy accident from, right?
No,
From Bob Ross.
I am
Do you know?
not familiar. I mean, I know who he is because of the memes,
Right.
and obviously, like I have respect, but I would not say that I am familiar with like.
I grew up watching Bob Ross as a kid, like in syndication at my grandmother's house, and so I'm like very familiar with Bob Ross. But I mostly watch
Mm,
him because he triggers my ASMR. But yeah,
mm.
he would always be like, you know, if he ever made a mistake, he'd be like, "There are no mistakes. They're just happy accidents. Let's paint a happy mood."
Precious.
Yeah. So
Precious.
he also liked small animals, so sometimes he'd bring little squirrels onto the show. So you should seriously go back and just all of his stuff is on YouTube now. You should just watch it. Anyway,
That's so lovely.
what do we think of this?
I think it's great. My only suggestion would be that this could just be my like aesthetic or my like I don't know, crazy like need for organization and symmetry. But there's so the gap between the floating panels in the middle is bigger than the gap between the wall and the floating panel.
Yeah.
And so if there's a way to like move these panels closer together from the
Oh gosh.
outside in, if that makes sense.
Yeah, there is. Hold on.
I think that
I
would just be like a
yeah. Well,
translation.
I just realized what I could do there to make it a lot easier. Hold on. Let me just do this
Yeah.
and then move that over.
Yeah, perfect.
Um. Uh. Problem is, I'm just wondering if people are gonna think that it's unintentional. You know,
Um,
like they're gonna go like, up, someone, changed a setting on accident or something. You know, like they might think that it's like an unintentional thing. Like, why is the ceiling screwed up in this one spot? You know, I don't know.
I think maybe yeah, that's a good point, and I think the texture could change the feeling of that,
Mm-hmm.
and if we really unify the texture of the ceiling with the floor and the pyramid that's being slightly exposed and the walls of the room, I feel like it'll give it a more intentional feeling. Whereas right now, I feel like the textures are kind of separated, and so
Well, let
it
me.
may look unintentional.
Yeah, I feel you there. Let me run through all of the textures. Select. All right. So let's. Oh dear. Okay. Well, I'll have to fix that in a second. Have you ever played the game Portal? The
No.
original one? Okay. Never mind. I won't. There are certain rooms in Portal where one of the panels is like moved out, or certain panels are moved out in a way, allowing you to see into the behind world. And I wonder, and we're, yeah, we're sort of doing that, but there's aspects that we could do if that were like a, I don't know, we'll figure that out. So we have aluminum scratch, that's way too dark. Carpet hash, that's nope. Um, that's the, I don't want to reuse, that's possible.
Mm.
That seems a little classroom though.
I'm interested in the grid pattern. I think the cream coloring is
Unfortunately,
off-putting
I
in
know,
here.
I can't change anything about, well, I could put
Yeah.
directional lights on the floor.
Um, Maybe let's keep looking through and seeing if there's a better option. I don't really mind that,
Mm-mm.
the slate gray,
Mm-hmm.
if we make the floor match.
The exact same, or I certainly don't want to keep the floor the aluminum scratch.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't know. I've
oh
never
well,
had like architecture experience, and so I'm just like
interior
spitballing.
design.
Yeah.
I also am probably not going to make these walls the same color. I was probably going to go with a darker color for the walls,
Mm.
which I should probably do right now after I change the
Yeah, I
floor.
agree.
Um, let's make the floor. What was I going to make the floor? This. Although I do like this. Let me go ahead and fix this really quickly. Magnetize that. Wow, that really, Jesus, that really messed up. All right, save. Cool. Problem is this has the pretty much the exact same color contrast to this space,
Yeah.
so I kind of
Mhm.
want to change that up. So let's change all of the walls.
Mhm. I think darker walls will kind of tie this room together and make it more intimate as well.
Oof. Nope. No. No.
Hmm.
Not as a wall color. Well, this could get really surreal if we made it all the Lotus wallpaper. Let's make a room that looks like it should be right out of a David Lynch film. Wallpaper pyramid.
There we go.
That's just way too busy, wouldn't you agree?
Yeah. Yeah. Crazy. Craziness.
Wallpaper metal box. That's also too busy. Also,
Yeah,
is
I'm
there
not a
collision?
fan.
That's not what I need. Ooh.
I am a fan.
I did want it to be dark though. I kind of wish that I could put like,
Shading.
yeah, Darl curtains. Mm-hmm. Cloaked figure. Okay, well
Perfect.
now I have to see what this looks like. What?
Very Assassin's Creed.
Oh, that's weird.
Oh.
But it's let's try Google Poly. I don't always have good I kind of want like another book thief. Okay, you're not helpful. What about just curtains? It's probably gonna be like window curtains. I need like drapes on like a theater. Yeah, that's close. Um, Drapery. Nope. Drapes. Curtains. Not draped. Okay. Um, drapes. What is that? What's going on here? Hold on. What is going on here? I hope this is not. I hope this is a SFW image. um, whatever it is, it can't stay here because it's certainly taking a long time to load in. While that thing is loading in, we should maybe do one of these every week.
Yeah,
if you
would be fun.
now that uh-oh, what's going on? Whew. Yeah, it totally lagged out as it loaded that in.
Wow.
What is going on? It's actually pretty well. Oh my gosh, look at those eyes though. Alright. I don't want to make fun of someone else's art. On a live stream, that would be bad. Let's see what happens if I change all of the walls to that color. I'm not really sure I want to stick with that color because it's very like drab office building. That is not that. Not that. That's like the default. Metal coated. Okay, hold on. I want to see if I can make this as dark as I want it to be with using the metal coated. Yeah, this might be what I'm looking for, to be quite honest.
Yeah. I don't know about the black or like dark gray with the brownish
that'll change.
floor. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll change really fast.
Cool.
We're probably going to open this space up a little bit, probably bring these walls in, push that wall out.
Yeah.
Metal coated. Now let's change the floor. Yeah, I'm starting to like this a lot more.
Yeah, me too.
I bet there's at least one person watching every time I make a change and I say I like this a lot more. They're going, wow, I don't like that at all. But they're not saying anything in the chat.
That's the.
There are also now there are now only 2 people watching, so. Paint satin. Wow, that's too bright. Ceramic tile. Carpet. Nope, that's too busy. Granite. No, that's too. What if we just made it? That's also too busy. What if we just made, what's carpet uniform? Well.
Nah.
No? Okay.
It's too light.
Yeah.
With the walls, I don't know.
Okay, well, you know what? What if I just made it, I just want to see what this looks like. That's a terrible idea.
Very Dark Souls.
Gross! Ooh. What do you think?
That's interesting.
I want to let me change this right now because that's going to affect how we feel about it.
Yeah.
Please, God, tell me that I can. Good. That would make me very sad if I couldn't do that. Well, now I want to kind of I want to see what that looks like, what the floor texture actually looks like on the ceiling tiles.
Yeah. And then I think if that doesn't work, a second idea would be to match the ceiling tiles with the wall and see, because it could give like a nice cohesive like tie, and the sky and the pyramid is like enough of a break or enough of a change to have the ceiling pop if it's the same color. So I don't know, could be successful.
Suddenly I can't find what I need. That's not good. Why can't I find what I need?
Little.
What? What is going on? It's called metal coated. Oh, because it's floor. Ah, that's frustrating. I'd have to change what type of asset this is in order to get it the right color.
Okay,
Well, I can
so
totally do that. I just don't want to do it on the live stream because that's like very nitty gritty, boring stuff to watch. To be honest.
yeah, and I mean, try the idea that you had first.
That was this.
Yeah. Ooh,
I like that.
I like it too. The floor now is a bit too bright.
Right.
Is there a way to either turn off a light
Yeah,
or
that's gonna be a directional light issue. I think I need to. Is there a way that I can? Yeah, I can change the. What the heck? Seriously, what is that doing there? Oops, let's not do that. There's no way that that directional light is there. Okay, no, it's actually here. What? That makes no sense. Okay, what's that doing here? Directional light 1. Why is that directional? Okay, so the directional light's actually here, but it's like the moving tool for it's over there. That makes no
it
sense.
looks like it's translated?
Well, I think there's just a glitch. Like the actual directional light is existing here, but the transformer tool is displaying over here for some reason. Um,
Hmm.
but what I need to do is I think if I make the shadow radius like 0, and that's only if it's going to cast shadows, and that's not going to display here. So let's make that. I wish I could just make the, because I can change the intensity, but I cannot. If I just delete this, so that makes the whole place feel dead.
Hmm.
And unfortunately, if I put a directional light out here, it seems to exude into. It doesn't act like a real light.
Hmm.
Unless I haven't set these to be shadow casting, and that's a possibility. No, it says receive shadow. That means receive shadow doesn't mean cast shadow. If I turn that off, doesn't really cast. Oh, cast shadow. Okay. See, I don't know how the lighting really works in Spoke, to be quite honest. Um,
Hmm.
and it might look a little like I don't really like how. In fact, I might change this.
My guess is that it's all done by ray tracing.
Oh,
Um,
if it was no, I doubt it. If it was done by ray tracing, this would be lagging out like crazy.
hmm.
Unless I don't understand the nature of the true nature of ray tracing, but I'm pretty sure that this is not done by ray tracing. Um, ray tracing is like a real way of like uh, rendering like real actual light, and you have to have a specific graphics card to make it work. And I don't have that. I have a GTX
Not
9.
necessarily, right? I mean, I don't know.
Well, not necessarily. I mean, yeah. I mean, if this was using ray tracing, what I'm saying is it's a huge strain on hardware, if I understand it correctly, and so this would not be running as smoothly as it is if there were ray tracing involved on my computer. Okay. Well, I like this. but I feel like I need to bring in this wall. Well, not just one part of the wall. How about the whole wall?
Yeah. Bring it in like one ceiling panel.
Is that exactly one ceiling panel?
Mhm.
What happened? Alright. What is happening? Yeah, alright. Then I can do the same thing over here. I think there are only two people watching, and I think do you have the live stream up at the moment?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. The only people watching the stream is us. At the moment, but that's alright. We had 5 people watching for the majority of it, so that's cool. It probably just got back, lunch ended, so that feels a lot better. In that case, I'm going to leave those ceiling tiles up for the moment in case we want to change it. Now I want to take this, I don't know. I want to take this wall and push it out a little bit. Whoa, what's going on? Okay. Wait, what the? Oh, shoot, I forgot. Okay. Let me, before I get too complicated here, let me delete that asset, because I will forget. Let me delete this asset. Alright. So now I can bring this wall back in. I need to... Cool. Is that connected? Awesome. Then I can take this wall and duplicate it and move it over. Ooh, damn. Wait a minute. Fixed. Except not fixed because... What? How did this happen? I can't believe you've done this.
Adam.
Adam, I can't believe you've done this.
I think those are 2 separate vines. I might have confused them.
Yeah. Alright, now that's fixed. Alright, then I can... It's probably going to have the same issue on this side.
Call myself a meme queen or a vine queen, and I don't even know my...
You know who is a vine queen? Hannah is a vine queen.
I fucking love vines.
She'd probably be like, no, I'm not. You don't know what you're saying. Stop talking. Is what she would tell me. Move this way. Something is wrong. Okay, maybe nothing is wrong. Guess nothing's wrong. Okay. Cool. Now I'm going to delete these assets. Yoo-hoo! Give me control of my mouse. Alright. And delete these assets. And then copy over these guys. Duplicatum.
Nice.
Just made up Latiners then. Eek. Ah. Okay. In that case, now I can center these a little better.
Mhm. This looks really cool. I'm really liking the floating ceiling panels now.
Is that centered? That's not quite centered. I think it's just a little. I fancy myself pretty good at just eyeballing symmetry
Mhm.
without having to look at the grid. Um, so I sometimes turn that off and just like move it to exactly where I want it to be. Okay, then I need to delete those assets. Never want to leave assets that no one can see for no reason. And technically I can get rid of this one too, but I'm going to leave it. Okay, so then let's do one really quick thing and take this wall. Actually, yeah, take this wall. And duplicate it and make sure that that's turned on. Spin it around. And that may have just solved the problem. Oh wait, what are those doing there?
What are those? Those are my Crocs.
You are a meme queen. Crocs. And then let's move. No, don't do that. Do this. Thank you. Move this out to here. And then. Yeah, that doesn't look weird at all. Just a random wall that extends to nowhere. That makes a lot of sense. Uh-huh. That's fine. We'll come back to that later. Alright. Cool.
Cool.
Okay, cool. Alright, so something I actually want to test now that we've built this space, because this is dope. This looks dope. Alright, so what I want to test now is something called a particle emitter. And
Oh, yes.
I have no idea. I've never experimented with this, so I don't know what is part of this particle emitter. I don't know what I can change. Can I make the particle count something ridiculous? Like
Probably.
just a giant. Oh yeah, that just made my computer heat up. The fans just went.
Yeah, I've made a lot of particle systems in my day, and they can get out of hand very quickly if you bump up some parameters.
Let's make the lifetime 10. Lifetime randomness 10. Size curve, quadratic n. I don't know what any of this is. This is now getting into math that I don't understand. Oh, this is cool. I can. Oh, now I see what it is. All right. Hold on. I don't even know what I've changed now. Crap. Okay. I can make the color. Come on. Come on. Now apparently, and we're gonna test this this way. By going um, let's try it on. Let's use this one. Apparently I can change the image of this.
Cool.
And I'm just gonna change it to a bunch of pictures of my face, just for a joke, just to be funny. Okay, so what does this actually do? Something kind of intriguing about this. Like, you
You walk through the floating pyramids.
yeah.
Definitely surreal.
Oh crap, how do I select it now? Um, oh no, don't move that. Oh crap. Particle emitter. Um, Start velocity, end velocity. Let's make the lifetime something stupid like 100. Um,
Look at them go. Little
oh,
floating heads.
it's actually okay.
Key press triggered.
No, I don't know.
I wish they would like fade as they disappeared.
I think
There's probably a
yeah, there's a way I can make it do that. Um,
velocity curve. Maybe changing that
there we go.
and adding a velocity would be interesting.
Now they fade. Yeah, I can add a
Oh yeah.
end velocity 5. Oh, I can change what direction they go.
Is there a way that you can make them a bit random? Doesn't look like it.
Now they're spinning.
This live stream is slowly deteriorating into just playing with pyramids.
Yeah, pretty much.
I love it.
What would be cool is if I could make them like 3-dimensional pyramids.
Yeah. Well, you should make the background transparent
You'd
in
think
that
that.
asset.
You'd think that, but it doesn't work very well. Like, let me see what happens if I select this asset, which is transparent. Kind of glitches out. It doesn't glitch out. Oh my gosh.
Looks so good.
This is fantastic. Alright, so now what they shouldn't be moving like that. They should be dropping from the ceiling.
From the ceiling, yes. Agreed.
Oh yeah. You're our 100th customer. This is amazing. This is great. Now where the hell do we put this?
I think it should drop from. You know what would be cool? If actually each of these ceiling tiles had their own particle emitter with different parameters, different velocities, different randomness values, so that we can get kind of this immersive art room where just these things are floating and you can kind of like come in and almost like try to interact with them. And they're just out of reach because obviously this is virtual and you can't really touch them, but they're so tangible. Or at least there leaves a lot to be desired in terms of like the feeling of wanting to interact with them and touch them. I think that's pretty powerful.
Okay, why does it do them in a block like that, though? That's my concern.
Probably because your velocity, your emission rate, and the lifespan and velocity parameters. Is there an emission rate that we can change?
Probably. I don't think it's called that, though. Um, well, that's kind of working the way I wanted it to. Maybe it's just
Mm-hmm.
on. Maybe the first generation when I change a setting like that, it just kind of screws up. I bet that's what's going on here. This is kind of where I want it to be.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this is awesome. Now I feel like we need to make these into some sort of like machine. Um,
Yeah.
oh, I know. I know. Okay, so let's revert the scale to be. That's actually pretty centered.
Yeah, that
Could
looks
be
great.
a little bit off to the left. All right, then now I can make it 2 or even 2.5. No, 2.25. 2.2.25. 2.25. Okay. I want it to look like there's a portal coming out of nowhere in the ceiling tile. Um,
Yeah, that looks interesting.
and then I just need to change the y value to be like 0.5. um, yeah. Let's even make it like 0.1. So it'll be really small. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. All right. Okay, that is cool. See, now it looks like they're literally coming out of this other, like,
Yeah,
three-dimensional space.
that's really neat.
Although I do need to move it over a little bit so that it'll be more centered. And move it there. No, I guess that's pretty centered, actually. Yep. Wow.
Yeah, that looks great.
Cool. All right, let's see what this place looks like when we actually walk around it. Because we can do anything we want now that no one's watching. Haha.
How long did you want to go for?
Uh, well, initially I was thinking we would just go until 2, but I realized that really these live streams, this when we're designing a space like this, is going to take longer.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I definitely need to advertise it more. in some way. I wish there was a way to know who watched. So I don't know who actually watched. Without me going around and being like, who watched? Do you want to join this scene? I can see.
Nah.
Okay. Yeah, I guess you can just walk.
No, I do. I'm
Okay.
kidding.
Oh, okay. Fast crazy spot.
Will you shoot me the link?
Yeah, let me change it from fast crazy spot, which sounds like my nickname for my dorm in college, to this. Apply. The link will be this, and I will need to get out of that for a second. There you go.
Thank you.
Alright, I'm gonna join this room. Streamer Duck 3. My name is Dell. I'm gonna change the avatar to my avatar. And Eaton's Pintail.
Display names. Stejara. Purple avatar. Are you doing microphone permissions?
I don't have them turned on. Yeah, I would just don't enable it because then you'll
How do I exit out? Oh, block. Enter room. All right. Oh, how do I? Oh, there we go. Okay, nice. Hello. Can you see me? Yeah. This is amazing. Okay, I want to take a look at the new space. I feel very this is so cool.
you can run by holding down shift.
Shift. Oh, nice. This is so cool. I really like this courtyard area with the color change on the wall.
Yeah, this is such a better. It just looks so much better now.
Yeah.
And there's less collision on the. There's less collision on the textures. I need to fix this staircase because there's still a little blockage when you try to walk when you start to walk up it. I don't know what I'm gonna do about this room. We might turn this into because this space runs so much better without the video in it that we might turn this into a different kind of room.
Yeah.
Let's see. You can also get on top of areas by using the teleport function. If you hold down on mouse or on a Mac, if you hold down 2 fingers, you get this little teleporter. So like I can actually go outside the space and then come back in.
Cool. Neat. Well, I like what we did to it.
Yeah, next time we can, I think next live stream we do, we can maybe finish up this room a little bit, maybe change some things
Mhm.
about it, although I really do like kind of the way it is right now without changing anything.
The only thing that I have about the particle emitter is it's not quite in the center of the room. Making it in the center would have it be like in between
Mm,
those four tiles. Do you see what I mean?
mm-hmm.
And so I think we can either make like more emitters or position it in a different area,
Yeah.
or figure out how to make the size of the room to where there's like a clear center panel
You know what would look,
that it emits
yeah,
from.
sorry. I like the idea of doing a center panel. There's a couple options. I could make it so that there's one center portal above the
Mm-hmm.
other tiles that you can kind of barely see, and the black thing is like a portal that is emitting the particles. Or
Mm-hmm.
I could make the peripheral tiles around the perimeter of the
Oh yeah.
room all particle emitters. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like this curtain of particle emitters around the external side of the room.
That would be really interesting depending on what's inside of the room.
Right.
I feel like if we're planning on putting art inside of the room,
Mm-hmm.
um,
That would be less
then
effective.
less effective,
Yeah.
especially if the art didn't really tie into what was being emitted.
I
Um,
could make just maybe one wall, a wall of particle emitters.
what we could also do is like have this space be a interactive like
Mm-hmm.
room for this portal. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like this could be the work in the space, and obviously we would make changes and things like that, but I think that the I guess visual feel of the space with that particle emitter feels like really intentional right now, and I feel like it could become like its own little immersive room on its own.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, maybe in the future live stream we can mess with it.
Hmm. Well, I think that's pretty good work for today. Now that no one is
Yeah.
watching, um,
Yeah.
I think we're good. It's now 3 o'clock where I am, so I'm gonna close the room, which will kick everyone out, so that there's not a random open parameter hub. Because if I don't close the room, it exists forever until like
Mhm.
hopefully Mozilla just has a bot that goes through and finds rooms that are open and just
Mhm.
goes and closes them. But now here's the cool thing: is in the same way that if I want to move a painting, I select the image and the frame, and then I can move them
Mhm.
both as a unit. I can do the
Mhm.
same thing with the particle emitter.
Mhm.
So now this is a unit, and I'm gonna move it over here.
Mhm. Yeah.
um, and then I can duplicate it, and we can see really. Actually, let's put it against the back. Well, let's put it against the left wall. I think that would be interesting. Let me center it. Yep. And then actually, the easiest thing to do would be to put it over here instead. Really
Mhm.
quickly. Um, Eek. Okay. Um, and then I can duplicate both. And now we have two particle emitters.
So
And
cool.
I'll center this one, and then I'll duplicate all four, and then I will...
Ooh, I just unplugged my headphones.
Oh dear. What just happened?
There we go. Now I'm back.
Okay, now I need to... And then we duplicate that and move them both over here.
Cool. I love. That looks great.
Sweet. I will fix just how... Yeah, that looks really neat.
Yeah,
Um,
quite nice. And I think it would be really interesting if the parameters are slightly different, so
yeah,
that the fall rate is different and things like that.
I might make it so that this one reaches about here and dies, and it reaches about here and dies, and it's
Yeah.
diagonal, maybe.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Yeah, we can mess with it,
mhm.
definitely. If we do the particle emitters like on a wall like this, I think maybe a really great addition to, or like a way that we can put art in the room would be maybe having like a center sculpture or a center piece that kind of ties in with these little emissions that are happening. I think that would be really, really interesting.
Let's find this on Sketchfab instead.
Yes.
Okay, but hold on.
Yes, yes, yes.
When you see what this actually looks like, you're gonna... Are we still live? Are people watching? Can I do this?
We are still live.
Okay. Yeah, but just us is watching, so I can do this. Just because this woman is a little bit not safe for work, but... Oh, yeah. Thing is, look at, like, this person is, like, crying red tears if you get really close.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Like,
Interesting.
that's a little...
Let's blow that up.
Alright.
Make it the centerpiece.
Yeah. The thing is, they usually make them 0.01. So if I come in here and I make it 1, that makes it humongous. Oh god.
Yes, 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 yes.
Hold on. Wait for it. Let me make it not quite humongous. There we go.
Perfect.
Still a little too big. Let's make it 0.25. And then let's... I don't know. Do you want it like that?
Yeah, give her like a little bit of a pedestal.
Okay.
That's perfect. Yeah. She is a giant. Wow.
Now, this is placeholder stuff, so eventually I'll want to get an artist who works for us, and you know, pay them to make their own sculpture.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna get rid of that. There's something quite intriguing about that.
Yeah, there really is. And then if it would be cool if you made those particle emitters like on each of the 3 walls, maybe except for the door, the wall with the doors.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be interesting. So that then there are these 4 like center.
Well, unfortunately, she uses too much resources. Like, check it out. Here, I'll show you just how. Just adding this one object will make Spoke yell at me. You'll see in a second what I'm talking about. Just how much of a drain on resources she is. Like, it'll probably run fine on my computer. See, like, just by putting her in there, I've moved from like 50,000 triangles to like
Yeah.
80,000 triangles. It's like don't do this, you know. So unfortunately, I
Yeah.
can't, and that's gonna be a problem we'll run into with the with any three-dimensional artist that we
Mhm.
hire as well. Is that just a texture? Okay, cool. But for the meantime, I can do this.
Yes. So cool.
Did I really just line that up? Wow. I don't need to change that. That's actually pretty lined up. Good. And I can duplicate that again. Move it out. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Don't do that. Oh, don't do that to me. Come on. Move it out here. Do this to it. Now, if I could get this to move like constantly, that would be cool. But I
Mhm.
don't. I want it to be snapping to 90 degrees. Thanks. And then... Oh, that's a problem. All right, hold on. Shit. And I can say that because no one's watching. One other person is watching. Oops. Hi, other person. You're our third watcher. Oh, come on. What's going on? Okay. Well, these aren't really spaced out well, but so what I'll need to do is... which particle emitter? That's black void 9. So that would hopefully be attached to particle emitter 9. No, it would be attached to... Oh, boy. Particle emitter 8. That, you know, because that makes all the sense in the world. Particle black void 11 is probably attached to particle emitter 9 or particle emitter 10. I bet I just made a major mistake, but whatever. I don't know, this is starting to get a little too busy. I mean, probably I just need to make the particle emitters a little less. I'll fix
Yeah.
that later. But, particle emitter 11. Backward, okay. Move them down here. Now, these are not quite lined up, so I will need to change them independently. This is the stuff that's less interesting to watch unless you're like someone who's in the industry. Let's see how poorly this amateur can design a level. Alright, so let's just select this guy and nope. This guy and nope. This guy and this guy? No. That guy and this guy? No. So it's particle emitter 9 and black void 10. Got it. And move him to the left a little bit. You know, I'm really specific about lining everything up, but if everyone's really looking for that, then we're in trouble. If we're gonna get people who are really going in here and being like, "That's not lined up by a meter," then we're in trouble. Then people are missing the point. All right, save. Okay, so that's pretty neat. So now I can select
Yeah.
all of the particle emitters. Oh God. Okay, and I can change their settings. uh,
just kind of like spit out a bunch of them.
Yeah. Uh, See, it just does that on the first initiation, and then it see, yeah, it does that. It just glitches out on the first one.
Oh, I think you didn't select
I
all of the
think
emitters.
you're correct. Yeah, I didn't select the original part. With the original particle emitter, please stand up. Okay. This is actually kind of interesting. If I could get it to do just this all the time, like that would be kind of cool, I think.
I don't know. That's very much not my aesthetic.
Really? Okay.
I think that if we're having like a lot of these guys going, there needs to be some sort of variation to break up the monotony.
Mm-hmm.
If they're all going into the same pattern, it's like then why use all of them? Why not just use one?
Right.
And so I guess I'm interested in having that variation and having the emissions also be considered like a piece of artwork or at least something that can elicit an interesting interaction between the virtual user and the space.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think giving it a little bit of that variation would help get that interest from the user and have them maybe walk up and really examine what's happening and play in the space.
That's a little less point zero. That makes a lot of sense. Zero randomness on size. I think that's where I had it originally. Actually, I can do. Yeah. It's gonna freak out on me for a second. End particle size 0.25, 0.25, 0.25. Oh, so there was a little bit of variation actually. Age randomness, lifetime randomness. Those are all things I'll have to change later. Let's take this person out, unfortunately. Naked crying woman has to leave. And I'm going to bring in what has become my placeholder. Ooh, you know what would be interesting, actually? Ooh. I kind of want to see what this looks like now.
Oh, that would be interesting.
Ah.
At least as a placeholder.
Well, but it's like, blah.
White.
It's just
Yeah.
totally white. I hate that. I hate it when that happens. The texture either doesn't load in or something, or,
I think you could assign your own texture when that happens.
I can't.
Oh, you can't?
I don't think I can.
Oh.
Well, wait a minute. Hold on. You know what? Let's do try. No, it's the model URL. But I can't change the actual, yeah, that, which is less than cool, but
yeah.
What I can do, if I just put a giant head. That's gonna probably be too. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe it's not. Nope, it is. That's trying to find one that isn't like. I think this is a Brancusi. I had to write a paper on Brancusi for art history when I was studying that. I think that's like Brancusi's egg, or one of yeah, this is like a Brancusi art work, which
cool.
But it like, see, it takes too many resources, just really frustrating.
So probably like a simple geometric shape would be less intense.
Yeah.
I'm also starting to get like super hungry because it's about
me
my
too.
lunchtime.
I need to eat something too. Oh dear.
Wow.
All right, there's something really
That's
interesting.
an aesthetic.
Yeah, it is. Um,
It's a lovely
it
sculpture.
is very well done. I wish I could keep it. What's this? This looks like it might not be too resource intensive. It is, but it's also very small. Oh, that's beautiful. I really wish I could put that in. Okay, hold on. Let me blow this up. This looks amazing. Let's make it 0.5. Wow, that's way too big. God. Uh, 0.25. That's also too big. 0.1. 0.15. Okay, there we go. Dell does everything in multiples of 5. I just want to look at this thing. Oh, that's so beautiful.
It's really
I
cool.
love that. It has to go away, unfortunately. Okay, well, you know what? I'm gonna. What I wanted to do was put my running, the Running Man.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That may have come from. What's, that may have come from Google Poly, actually. Yeah, here it
There
is.
he is. Cool.
And I want him to be much bigger, so let's make him size 2. And translate, and definitely not in the center of the room yet. Grrr, line him up. Actually, I don't need to do that. I don't need to eyeball it. I can look at the grid. That grid is way too small. Don't need to look at the grid. Pretty good at eyeballing this stuff anyway. Oh, that's very advantageous. That those are transparent textures.
Yeah, that's cool.
I can line this blue arrow up with the.
Hmm.
You can be back just a hair. Okay, and then is his foot through the. Yeah, let's change that. Bring him up. Is he floating? Should he be floating?
Um, I mean, I like it how
No
it
one,
is,
no one will
especially since
notice
this
that.
is just a placeholder. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Save. I'm gonna stop the live stream. Um, thank you to the third person who's watching. Uh, for joining us.
Is this staying up? Or is the video staying up, or was it only up when it was live?
I think I'll leave it. I think I might edit it and edit out like the
Hmm.
one time that I accidentally said a cuss word and then.
Oh, me too. Me too.
Yeah.
I slipped one in there too.
Oh yeah. All right. Let's save and publish really fast. Because the cool thing is that eventually when we're ready to really release this thing, is I can make it. I can start the hub, and then
Mhm.
I get a permanent URL that I can put on the website, and people will be able to click on it and go straight there
Yeah,
and just go to it whenever. And that's my
that's
goal,
so cool.
is to make it a
Hmm.
free thing that people can experience and find another method of funding for the artists who outside of people having to pay an admission fee.
Hmm.
Anyway, all right, we're gonna leave it. We're gonna leave this with a nice little shot right here, and stop the live stream.
Thank you.
Thanks to everyone who joined, even if you joined briefly. We will see you later.
Bye.